This is the second studio, hosted by two architects, myself, David Lee, and Marina Borderonnet. This week, it's just the two of us in a casual after-hours conversation. Doing a lot of those these days because we have such exciting lives that we have a lot to talk about. This week, we actually do have a topic, and that is we're going to talk about Disneyland because we went to Disneyland recently. And longtime listeners know I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of theme parks and the holistic architectural experience that theme parks can create. So maybe we'll talk about that. Or we're just going to talk about pickles and churros. Let's find out.
I was going to say, I love how you always turn after hours and non-after hours.
Yeah.
It's always like, let's bring back architecture.
Okay, sponsors.
This episode of The Second Studio is brought to you by BQE Core, the all-in-one firm management software built for architects. Designed by architects for architects, Core helps you track time effortlessly, manage projects seamlessly, and get paid faster so you can focus on design, not spreadsheets. With powerful automation and real-time insights, it's everything you need to run a smarter, more profitable firm. See how BQE Core can transform your practice by clicking the link in our show notes.
The Second Studio podcast is sponsored by Autodesk. Do you know about Autodesk Forma? Available standalone or as part of their AEC Collection software bundle, it's a specialized AI-assisted 3D design tool that can transform early project planning. With Forma, you can rapidly model multiple massing options at the start of your projects and analyze the embodied carbon costs of different volumes, layouts, and material choices. You can then deepen your understanding of your sites by incorporating real-world contextual data for daylight, wind, noise, and more. Start your projects right with Autodesk Forma. Check out the link in our show notes to learn more.
This is the second studio with Marina.
Just me?
Yeah. We should rename this show to the hosted by people who are sick and can't really breathe through their noses because we're both sick and we're always sick these days. Every recording.
You're not sick. Because if you were sick, there's nothing happening. You cancel recordings, you spend your day in bed. Like, this is the end of the world when you're sick. You're not sick?
I'm sick. I'm powering through. You're
powering through. Wow.
Yeah, no, we're both a little under the weather. You actually missed a recording for the first time.
I did. I've been very much under the weather. The whole week I was sick.
It's not a competition.
No, I'm just stating the facts here.
The
so
facts
people
of
know
just trying
and
to win.
Give me some sympathy.
Some sympathy.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
I will probably, during this recording, have a coughing attack.
A coughing attack?
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just warning the listeners.
Good thing we're not in, like, the 1400s. We'd all be dead from, like, the common flu.
Yeah.
Or the common cold.
I didn't go to the doctor. It was kind of disappointing because she was like, oh, did you do a COVID test? I'm like, no. I'm thinking, is this still a thing?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I was like, no. She's like, well, it'll be too late anyway. I'm like, okay.
Look at a fucking doctor.
I'm like, right, okay. I'm like, well, anything else I can take? She's like, well, keep the fluids and, just drink honey and whatever. And I'm like, cool. So I just paid $30 of copay and took time off during my work day to come see you, and that's it. I'm like, well, ChatGPT would have been a better job. It would have cost me nothing.
Yeah, sometimes the common colds that we get are just, sometimes they're really bad, and there's nothing you can really do other than just take, Mucinex or...
Well, actually, we had a client who said that when she had her kid and she would get sick from her kid, that every time it was actually worse than the adult version of whatever she had. Because she got it from a kid.
It was worse than the adult? What?
Yeah, like if you get it from a kid, for some reason, it ends up like way worse on you.
Oh, for the adults?
Yeah, than if you just get it from an adult.
Yeah, I also heard the same thing from a client. Or it was the same client.
Oh, really?
Different people, maybe.
We have the same clients?
No, but I've heard that. So yeah, there's a little... oh, there it is. Oh, no.
Oh, that's just a teaser.
Are you sure? Yeah, so anyway, Disneyland, right? We
after, I don't know, 15 years of telling me every month, we should go to Disneyland, we finally went. So I'm hoping I would stop hearing about it for quite a while.
You had never been to the original Disneyland before.
No.
Some context. You had been to the one in Paris.
Several times, yeah.
Yeah, like how many is several?
Well, I didn't grow up near it, and in France, it's like one thing you go to.
I feel like you're making excuses. You're backtracking the word several.
No, but it's like...
I'm just asking.
Well, how many times have you been?
No, I'm just... I don't know.
I'm just asking a question. I don't know. I was a kid. I do not recall.
But ballpark it 10 times, 20 times, once a year,
4
twice
times?
a year? 4 times. Okay.
Maybe at most. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Fine. That's fine. God.
No, you're just going to show up again.
No, there's no subtext. It's just
every
a question.
We live right next to it. Why,
it's like we ask, how big was the chocolate Easter egg? A foot? And we go back and pictures it and guess it was not
a foot. But when you're a kid, everything looks bigger.
Yeah.
So it was a foot, based on whatever age I was in at that time. So probably accurate.
Yeah. Okay, so you had gone to Disneyland and you hadn't been to any other Disney theme parks, right?
No, I mean, I'm not that kind of Disney-obsessed person who...
No, it doesn't mean
No,
that...
but there's people who are so obsessed, like every time they visit a country, they have to go check out Disneyland, which, I mean, I'm obsessed with architecture, so that's what I do with architecture. People do it with different things. So, no, I have not been to any other one that I can recall.
Gotcha. So, this must have been a 15 or 16 or 17-year period since I had been to Disneyland, something, maybe even longer, something like that.
Don't ask me, I don't know.
Yeah, and... I had wanted to go when they opened up the Star Wars. Now that I know it's called the Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So I wanted to go to see that because there was a lot of hoopla about that. We interviewed, I forget his name, I think his name was Michael, the architect that works at Disneyland. He's like a senior architect. Yeah. He had talked about the tech that was inside or used in the rides and the RFID chips and all this kind of stuff. And it was, what's up?
Oh, my earbuds keep cutting off. It's annoying.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great interview. It was very cool to listen. Kind of like the behind the scene.
I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to that, or go back to the theme park and next time meet up with him. So there's a long time coming. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the experience.
Well, so we went when we got there before the park opened. So like before 8, we got there maybe at 7:30, 7:45, got in line, which I don't know. When we were kids, we went to Disney in France. If we went like when it opened or we went a little bit later, but it was kind of like cool to be there like when the door opens because you feel like, oh, the park is clean, everything's being wiped, it's going to be germ free, there's no line, like it's going to be nice. It was actually super busy already, which was surprising. Mostly people with young kids, which kind of makes sense because of nap schedules. Once you're a parent, you kind of like, look at life and daytime a little bit differently. It was cool. I have to say, I very much enjoyed my day. The first half of the day when it was mostly empty.
Really?
It was awesome. I told you before, it's like you go grocery shopping when the store just opened, the aisles are full, and there's just a few people. Everybody's relaxed because we're all like a couple steps ahead of everyone. There's no rushing. There's no, it's like the perfect vibe. You feel productive. You feel like you're cruising along. Like, that was great. And then lunchtime happens, and then like, the park just turns into like a mad busy place, and I was like, this is too much for me. Like, I'm not.
See, I have the opposite.
I'm not a crowd person. Like the only time I would be crowd if I go to a concert, that's the only time I would tolerate crowd.
Right.
But I am not a crowd person, so
yeah.
So I very much enjoyed Disneyland when it was empty in the morning. Yeah.
So we did get there early, and we had to do some research and planning before going because 17 whatever years ago, at that time they had the Fast Pass, which was this little ticket that you could get to not cut the line but go through the faster line. That was a big deal. And then I think they went through like 2 different iterations of that since then. And so we did some planning, which I didn't want to have to do, but it seemed to make sense to get the most out of it. What's interesting about Disneyland is, it's a contained theme park, but their money has bled outside of the park. So all around, maybe a 2 blocks-ish radius outside of the park, the signage is better. Like, everything's kind of like more Disney-fied directly outside of there. And there's a bunch of hotels and restaurants, which clearly people stay there because they're going to the park across the street. But I had forgotten that Disneyland is they prioritize the customer experience, that even when we were waiting in line in the parking garage line to get the tickets to get the parking ticket to go in, whatever, the guy there was like really nice, and I told you in the car, I'm like, we're not going to have a single bad like customer experience for the rest of the day. So
it's funny because I felt like everyone was nice.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way you've always kind of described it to me is like, it's like, oh, have a magical day. Like, people are like super nice, super happy. And I actually didn't get that vibe at all. I felt like they were nice, but like not like extra super duper nice, Disney magical nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was kind of like wondering, like, is it just me or,
It's also different going with a kid because like 2/3 of my brain was occupied by the kid,
Yeah.
and only 1/3 was dedicated to the park, really. But yeah, they're trained to do certain things at retail. At least when I was working there when I was in high school, it's probably still the same. The day that we went was oddly quiet for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So the first half of the day you liked it, but I told you, I said this doesn't really feel like what I remember from Disneyland.
This is awesome.
Because I associate it with like crowds and activity, and then when it got to be probably early afternoon, like peak crowds, when you started to feel uncomfortable, I'm like, yeah, this actually feels now it feels like
you're like, this is actually not the worst, and I'm like, this is the most I could handle. Like, this is walking behind people. Like, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Walking behind people.
No, but like if you're like, if you have like 3 feet before the next person ahead of you, and you have to walk like this, like,
But you're supposed to chill out. There's no rush.
No, there's just people everywhere. You can see stuff. I'm looking for the tourist stand. I cannot see it because there's too many people around.
I mean, the experience that I had when I was a kid, if you waited in line for 35 minutes or less, that was good. For the big rides, like Big Thunder, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, that was like, whoa, 35 minutes to get to the ride? That is amazing. Normally for those rides, it's like 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes even longer during the summer times. And that was a lot of the experience. And
I feel like crowd and waiting in line are two things that I do not like.
Yeah. Well, so we did it's called the Lightning Pass, I think, or the Multi-Lightning Pass. So there's, I don't know how much people care about this, but basically you can pay more to have these passes, which allow you to reserve like a digital ticket to go in a much shorter line for certain rides.
For a specific time slot, right?
Well, so what I had read online is that you kind of choose the time slot, but when I was doing it on the app, it didn't let you choose. It just told you the next available slot, and then that's when you have to arrive. So they give you an hour window to arrive during that time period, but you don't choose the hour window. And I would assume they do that to kind of stagger things. But again, I don't know anyone who's visiting Disneyland. I would say if you're going in the middle of the week and you're there in the morning, you don't really need to use the Lightning Pass for the first handful of hours because the waits are only like 10 minutes at most, just in their normal line. But it really becomes useful toward the mid or end of the day for the big rides.
Yeah.
So we hit I think 7 attractions in the first 2 hours or something weird, which is not normal.
If the wait is short, and the rides are actually pretty short. Most of the rides are like shorter.
Couple minutes.
Than 10 minutes, right? Yeah. So it was easy. It's funny. The first ride. So we get there. We walk down to Main Street, which is cute. Actually, I wish we had more time before we left to stroll along Main Street, but it was kind of a zoo at the time we left, and it wasn't really
we're tired.
I think it would have been good to start the day with that, but you kind of want to rush through the rides first, so it's kind of difficult. We get there, we get to the kind of the main plaza or whatever, and then we see
Main Street or the circle
at the circle.
Okay, right? Like the roundabout.
The roundabout.
I don't know.
I don't know. Is there a name for it?
Is it a roundabout? I mean,
it is a roundabout.
It's a roundabout, kind of. Yeah. Well, but it's not for cars, so I don't know. Whatever. It's a circular plaza with the big kind of statue in the middle.
And you're like, oh wow! I remember the castle being bigger.
And I knew the castle was small.
And I'm looking at it. I'm like,
it's small.
I think I did a double take. I'm like, is this the castle?
Is this the pre-castle?
I was like, is this the gate of the castle?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then you said that, I was like, oh no, you're missing many parts of this castle. What is this?
Yeah.
I had to look it up again, what the one in Paris looks like. I'm like, yeah, this is a properly sized castle. You need a tower, you need this and that.
Yeah, it's more. It's not really a castle you go inside of. You can, but it's you go up one part, half a flight of stairs up, and then you go back down. There's not much. Yeah. This is not really going inside of it.
So the first ride we did was the Snow White, which honestly, I have to say, a lot of the rides, I don't even remember if they exist in France. I don't remember if I've done them, except the kind of the big ones. But Snow White, I didn't remember it. I have to say, it was kind of creepy.
A lot of those are creepy.
A lot of
kids'
those
rides.
are like the songs are, and it's funny because I don't know if it's because we're in 2026 and that kind of stuff now feels creepy, or if it always felt creepy.
Always.
You know. So the music kind of felt creepy. There was we're going with a toddler, so we're trying to be very mindful, like what kind of experience he's going to have and the things he's going to like and might not like. And there's actually a lot of like darkness in the ride. Yeah. Which was not meant to be a scary ride at all, but I myself was a little scared too, you know? I was like, this is creepy, and it's a little dark. And then the machinery of that specific ride, so an older ride, right? So you can kind of tell that the tracks and the wagons and the things that are moving are a little clunky. It's like, oh, you're making a turn. It's not a curve. It's like a 90-degree turn, you know? And I was like, I remember the first turn it made, I was like, oh my! Like, what are we on?
Most of the kids' rides, like there's a Snow White, there's a Alice in Wonderland, Winnie the Pooh, they all have segments that are, it's meant to be like a little story. So there's a dark part.
And I mean, when you rewatch Disney as like a more grown-up person, there's a lot of like dark, creepy stuff in Disney movies that, when you're a child, you don't really see as much, I feel.
I mean, you just register it as badness, but you don't really...
Yeah, you don't really analyze it as much. So Snow White was not a huge success with the toddler.
Well, the problem is that he's just too young. Like, he doesn't know any of these characters. And you brought up an interesting point, which had never occurred to me. Like, if you're a person or a kid and you're going to Disneyland for the first time, but you don't know any of these characters, you haven't watched the movies, you haven't seen the books or anything, like, it's got to feel all somewhat without meaning. I mean, he's too young to register even that concept, and it never occurred to me because I grew up watching Disney movies, so, like, I don't think I ever experienced...
But when did you start watching Disney movies? They were like the 3?
I don't know, but probably we had all the VHS classics of all the main
we did
stuff.
Too.
Although having said that, there's
only
a
a year and a half, like he's only a year and a half.
Yeah, well, there's a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, and it had been there from the very beginning. It's like I think one of the first attractions, and I remember when I was maybe 10. By that point I'd been to Disneyland a bunch of times. And we're there. And my mom
bragging at all.
My mom was like, "Do you want to go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?" I'm like, I'd say this, but I'm like, what the fuck is that? Mr. Toad's... And she's like, that's like an iconic Disney character. I'm like, that means nothing to me. And so she's like, well, we should go because whatever. So we went, and it was a good ride, but it was like, okay, that was just a Toad, because I didn't know who he was. Yeah. So I guess one has to really like watch the movies before going to Disneyland in order for it to mean something. Otherwise it's just random goofy.
But I mean, we kind of knew that. It was more to kind of see his reaction to some of those things. It was mostly for me. I wanted to go. And mostly for us. Well, let's take the kid to Disneyland. But really, let's take the old kids to Disneyland.
So we did Snow White. We did Dumbo.
The other thing in a lot of those rides is the sound is very loud. And I don't know if it's because we're more like quiet people, and therefore when something is loud, it's just kind of like shockingly loud. Mm-hmm. But... I was thinking mostly like, okay, my son's ears, like, I don't want him to like be freaked out. And a lot of it, the speakers were just a notch too high.
I don't know if they've cranked it up since, when I was there, but I do not remember things being that loud.
And I have to say, the Snow White ride smelled like old house, old stuff.
Yeah, it's like
I know, but put some Febreze in there, burn some incense, like, make it smell clean.
No. So we did that. We did Dumbo.
I was not scared, but it goes pretty high. And that little door on the side is open.
I want to go to the top. You're like, no, let's not go. Let's not go high. I'm like, what are you?
I'm like, can we trust this machinery here? Like, how often do they check the bolts,
And then we did It's a Small World after all.
I have to say, this one's pretty awesome.
You think so?
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. I mean, the ride itself, you're on a gondola and whatever. I actually kept looking. It's like, how much water do we think is in this, basin? And like, how do they? Yeah, it's pretty shallow. I was like, how do they clean it up? And how do how much? I was trying to imagine like how much water is filling the whole thing. Just kind of like technical questions. But no, It's a Small World. It's a pretty incredible ride. It's just like the richness of the music, the little figurine, like all the little costumes and things. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I thought it was really cute.
So years ago, we watched a documentary about the making of Disneyland, and we started watching it again after we went to the theme park. We kind of stopped, but there's a few fun facts. So Disney as a company was not nearly as big as it was when when he was going to create the park.
Course.
And everyone thought Walt Disney was kind of a nutso for doing this because it was going to cost a lot of money, and he wanted to do it down in Anaheim, and there wasn't, back then, there was just like orange groves and dirt and houses. There wasn't a whole lot, which is a weird, when you see pictures of it, it's strange to think that it used to be mostly orange groves.
Places.
And so a lot of people didn't think it was going to pan out. His brother, who I guess was CFO or in charge of finances, thought this was just a terrible idea. I think it was funded by ABC, and it was supposed to cost, I'm going to get my numbers wrong. I think it was supposed to cost like $3 million, and I believe the final cost was 17 or 14. It was like 5X.
It went way over.
5X. And it was, we would call it more like a design-build project. It was designed and built in a year. And obviously it's not as big as it is now, or was not as big as it is now, but it had the castle, it had Tomorrowland, it had Fantasyland, it had the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise was created by a dude who didn't draw anything. They just took tractors and carved out the dirt and then made the ride that way. And then they would drive trucks through the canyons and to simulate, this is going to be filled with water. This is what you're going to see when you turn here, here, and here. So a lot of this, some of the stuff that you see in the park now, like the Jungle Cruise has like elephants and people climbing a pole to get away from hyenas. That was all there to begin with. And It's a Small World after all the costumes were designed by one person. This like graphic artist, and if you look at her artwork, it's also interesting too because this is back in I want to say 1950 or something like that, right? Or 1955, I believe. Disney had a bunch of women working. You kind of think there was a lot of guys, but there was still a handful of women, and he didn't seem to have any kind of issues with, having women do this and that and whatever. But anyway, the graphic designer artist who did the costumes. Or did you do the costumes? Did you partner with, I forget, whatever. The person who drew up, and painted the illustrations of the costumes are the most, like, beautiful things you'd ever seen. The ride is, when I was a kid, it's not very interesting because you want to go on, like, the big roller coasters. But now, when you look at the dolls, you're like, this is a lot of cloth.
I was just looking at all the animatronics,
it's
and
amazing.
I'm like, how do they make them dance and do that? And it's, like, really smooth, or, like, just a couple of things together and gives you the illusion of this or that. And I was just fascinated in, like, how they made it, like.
I'm surprised that ride hasn't been canceled or some bullshit because of their portrayals of, whoever. But they said in the documentary that they started off by hiring architects, but the architects kept designing like architecture when what he wanted was something that wasn't that and more like blurring the lines. So I think a lot of the rides, the buildings, all the stuff was designed and created by movie people, like cartoonists and set designers and all those animatronic people, like all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of cool because, it's like you're coming together to execute this vision, but you don't care what your title is. You don't care, what your profession is, what the profession typically does, and adhering to the rule set of that vocation and must think this way. Like it was really just a bunch of people with their own expertise, but not being limited to any preconceptions. I think it's a really interesting way to work. So we did that ride, and then we went over to Toontown for the Mickey Mouse ride. The Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So we get in there, no spoilers, but you're like kind of like in like a small room with a bunch of strangers. They have a movie screen and they're playing something on the screen, and you're like, okay, am I just gonna be standing here for this thing? Like, what is this? And then the doors open, and then you go and you like sit in like a little car or whatever. Then the train starts, and then the car starts to split up, and you're like, oh my god, kind of like a big surprise. That was pretty cool. I
want to go back and do that ride again at some point because I think I didn't appreciate it enough. It was like the Star Wars ride because they both use that same
mechanics.
I think RFID chips or whatever they call it. It was also interesting because both of those are newer. They put more effort into creating a story from the very beginning. So like that first space, it's a standing theater and there's a short film being played about Mickey Mouse and trains or whatever. It's just a waiting room essentially, but it becomes part of the larger experience. But the car itself that you're in is not on a track. It's just car with like wheels underneath, and you float around. It's free in space.
Yeah, so that's what I didn't understand. Is it
controlled.
like magnetic track underneath the floor? Is it like just a chip that's programmed for the thing to move a certain way? Like, it's very intriguing. That's cool.
More like a blurring of technology, like physical stuff, digital stuff, projected stuff, whatever. So there, we did like 4 rides in like the first like hour and 15 minutes or something silly. And then I was like, what the heck are we going to do the rest of the day?
And then what did we do? Did we do Finding Nemo?
After that, we went over to Tomorrowland. And on the way to Tomorrowland, we saw a churro stand. And you wanted to trigger a churro. And I was surprised.
I've been told, the churros in Disneyland are the must try. They're the best churros in the world. And I'm like, okay. I like churros. I'm not like obsessed with churros. I'm like, okay, I guess I must try this famous churro thing. Oh my God. It was the best churro I've ever had.
It's pretty good, huh?
I had to have another one later in the day. I was like, I'm not coming here for a little bit, so I'm going to get another churro. All right. It was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We had that, and we also were told to try their pickles.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a strange snack to grab. A churro at a theme park makes sense. It feels appropriate. A pickle, I'm like, why in the hell would I want to eat a pickle in the middle of the day at Disneyland? And it comes in, I was thinking just a small size pickle. It's this massive pickle packed in like a plastic bag.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so strange. Like,
but we did have the pickle later on in the afternoon.
When it was hot. And it was amazing.
It was a good pickle.
Because it was hot, so it was like, full of water. It was like dill pickled. It was really good.
But it wasn't too salty. No. Like sometimes, you have store-bought pickles and they're like really salty. It was actually quite like refreshing.
No, it was.
Pickle for the win.
Surprised.
Yeah, me too. I had it before, but I don't remember it being so delightful.
Oh, you had it before?
Yeah, but when I had it, I ate the whole thing by myself when I was a kid, and then went on the teacups afterwards.
Oh, does that sound like a good idea? Did the pickle make it? Or?
So my experience was a little different.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it was.
It was anything before you did the teacups.
Yeah. Yeah, we did not do the teacups. No, the pickle was, it was good. I would have it again.
I would share it though. It was kind of, it was huge, but it was surprisingly good.
Yeah, we go on our way to Tomorrowland. We stopped by the churro stand. You were enthusiastic about that, which I was surprised. And you tasted it and you loved it. And I was also surprised.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know. I thought you'd be like, well, France has better ones or whatever.
Well, I have to say that being raised in France, I probably have higher standards than a lot of people here. So when I hear like the best churro, I'm like, okay, let's see here.
They're
and then
pretty
I was
good.
like,
they're pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I also had myself a blue slushy from Toontown. That was delicious.
I don't know how you can drink those things.
What do you mean?
Like, you're always criticizing me. This is too sweet. This is too sweet. I'm like,
Nutella is sugar.
It's slushies that are a color that is not even real.
Okay, I asked you what flavor you wanted. They had like orange. They had a bunch of that. Like watermelon.
I said they have a juice that'd be great, and then you're like, oh, they have slushy. I'm like, well, yeah.
They had a bunch of flavors. You chose blue raspberry, and I was like, okay. Blue raspberry is like.
Well, the other ones didn't sound good either, so I just kind of came with the one that had raspberry in it.
That was pretty good.
And then you came with that, and I had a sip. I was like, it's like 9 a.m, and I'm like, I can't drink this right now.
What's nice going to Disneyland as an adult is that, so when I was a kid, my parents were not like gatekeeping treats when we were at Disneyland, because you're at Disneyland. It's like, but it was also, I don't remember being able to get a churro whenever I wanted or get a blue slushie. It's like, no, you don't need that. But now I'm like, I want a blue slushie. There's no one telling me I can't have a blue slushie.
Blue slushie at 9 a.m. Yeah. You're going to have 2 churros today.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, wait, I can do that?
It's funny because
I have free will.
When you got the slushie, I was like, oh my God, like, why would you get something like that early? And then I'm looking around, I'm looking at the menus, I'm like, well, I guess there won't be anything healthy here. So today is not going to be a day where we're going to feel good about what we're going to eat. Like,
they have fruit and things like that. You just have to know where to go. Yeah. But the blue slushie tasted extra good because it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and no one told me I couldn't have it.
It's a taste of freedom.
Yeah, it was a taste of freedom. Also, I thought the prices of food at Disneyland were going to be a lot worse. and they weren't cheap, but they weren't that bad.
I don't even know what the prices were. I was just interested in
I
the
think
item.
the slushie was like $5, maybe $6.
That's not cheap.
No, it's not. But like, okay, the churro was maybe, what was the churro? $5? Something around there. Lunch was like, I think $15 for like a not a great. We went to the wrong place for lunch, I think. But it's $15 for like a burger, a soda, and fries. Like, that's by today's standards, that's not bad. I thought it was gonna be like $25 for lunch, and it really wasn't. I mean, it's better than going to the airport.
I have to say, my biggest regret food wise was the last thing I got. That to this day I still think about it, and I'm like, oh, why would they make it?
Well, let's go back on track. So we get the churro. We're on our way to Tomorrowland. We're gonna do the Finding.
We did Finding Nemo. And of course, our kid just makes friends everywhere we wait in line. So, it's pretty interesting. Finding Nemo.
Everybody. It's like other kids,
so everyone's
adults,
obsessed with him.
grandparents, couples, people on their own. Like everybody. It's weird.
Dying people, everywhere.
Yeah, everybody.
But so Finding Nemo, the stair that goes down the submarine was really not complying with code. And
it's
I'm
a
like,
submarine.
No,
I mean,
but I'm like, there's nothing to hang on to. And I'm like I'm young and nimble, but like a lot of people here like cannot, So they could add a little handrail. It wouldn't hurt anybody.
No, it's meant to be a submarine.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like they were trying to kill half of the crew coming down.
What'd you think of that ride?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting actually something a lot more. I feel like it could have been really magical because, underwater colors, like even real fish. I mean, I don't know, like they could, something. And it seemed like we had some glitches maybe in some moments on the ride. And actually, like facing that little window was kind of annoying in a way.
What do they call it? A portal? What did they call it?
In French, it's called an hublot. Huh. I almost feel like I wanted to see more, and I was just kind of like looking through Swiss cheese, and it's just a little bit annoying.
Even ignoring the glitch, I'm not a huge fan of that ride. The old submarine ride, I think, was better. Oh, yeah? More complicated. They had like real fish. They had real people down there.
Yeah, I mean that sounds cool.
Real, people playing mermaids.
Yeah.
Much more of a production.
More, that sounds more magical.
This. And the pond lake thing is big enough to where you think you're going to experience some sense of depth and space, and you think the experience would be much more cinematographic. Yeah, but it's almost like the majority of the experience and what you're seeing is within just a few feet from the submarine window, so you don't really get the sense that you're in the ocean ever. Yeah. You're just kind of going by. It's like, well, we didn't really need to be in a submarine for this, and
I feel like again those tiny windows, you also feel like everyone had their own little experience. But to me, like a lot of the ride is like feeling like as whoever you're surrounded with, we're all having an experience together, and so I didn't really care. So that ride I didn't really care for. Then we did Autopia. Yeah,
we did a fast track and a lightning pass for that.
Which, by the way, they're going to switch to have electric cars.
When?
It's upcoming.
Apparently,
it smelled pretty bad around there.
Apparently, those cars are the original cars. Like the original
they're going to change them
design.
to the EV.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Maybe they go faster.
But so much of, I don't think so, but so much of the ride has to do with the emissions. It's the smell, and it's like, that's like a big part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just an EV, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's going to be too smooth.
Actually, there's not even going to be any noise, just...
That was cool. I actually don't remember doing that ride in France. I don't think it was there.
It was fun. It hit me when we did the Autopia ride and then all the other rides afterwards that when you don't have to wait in line. So for Autopia, we waited in line for maybe 5 minutes at most.
Yeah.
For Dumbo, there was no lightning pass available. So I think that was one of the longest waits we did, to be honest.
The longest one was Jungle Cruise.
Okay, that's true.
40 minutes.
Dumbo was like maybe a 15, 20 minute wait.
Mm-hmm.
Snow White was like 3-4 minutes.
That was short, yeah.
It's a Small World was also like...
no minutes.
I think no minutes. But anyway, so when we did the Autopia ride, it occurred to me that when you don't wait in line, it really changes the experience of the entire park and the ride itself.
You don't build the excitement of getting in the ride. It's like, okay, we're here.
It sounds dumb. Like when I'm telling you that, my memory of the experience, a lot of it is waiting in line. Like, who the fuck wants to wait in line for an hour? But like, it's kind of like they call it quality nothing time. Like when you're with your family or your friends or your extended family, and you're waiting in line for 40 minutes. Like, you have to keep yourself entertained. And it's like part of it sounds really dumb, but it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
You do silly games together. Like we played like the slapping hand game when we were kids with my parents, and this kind of stuff. Then when you turn the corner and you finally see the ride itself, you still got like another 20 minutes, but you're like, oh, it's getting exciting, and there's like all this anticipation, and then you do the ride, and it's a huge kind of like adrenaline dump almost. When you just walk up to the gate and you do the ride, it's like this blip, and there's no build-up.
I think it also makes the ride feel even shorter.
I agree.
Because you don't, because you didn't experience wait, you didn't experience time. Then you get on the ride and it's done, and you're kind of like, well...
Yeah.
When you're waiting, you're building up the anticipation, and then you get so excited, so the excitement kind of takes over, and then the ride probably feels longer than it actually is.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. As much as I don't like waiting in line, I do think it does impact.
There's something
the
about like the, and actually, so when I
when I have to say though, when you're going with a baby though, it's pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
If we were going with like older kids, I would rather wait in line a little bit.
Yeah.
Than not. Yeah.
It also just
feels like cheating.
Yeah. Like I remember, I think in high school or I don't know. We went to Disneyland when we were older, with friends, and a lot of the people I was with, the group I was with, they wanted to hit the big rides. So they're like, okay, we're going to skip the parades and we're going to go to the rides at odd times to do the ride. Which again makes sense, but I really didn't enjoy it because I'm like, this just feels like we're running around. Like, I don't know. I'm like, this is not really the experience of Disneyland. This is more like driving through a drive-through or something. Like, it doesn't.
Do they have parades every day?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they might have some off days, but they have parades. We just didn't see them.
And do they have like shows?
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I think some of the shows are, not every day, but they have little things going on. Yeah. So yeah, we did Finding Nemo, we did Autopia. Then we didn't do any of the big rides because we couldn't really in Tomorrowland, but we went through like the space, what do you call it? They call it the space, I don't know, the gift shop kind of, all the Star Wars things. Oh, yeah. You got Baby Yoda backpack, a Baby Yoda sippy cup, Baby Yoda everything. Yeah. Baby Yoda napkins. It's like
I wish we had taken more time to go inside gift shops, just because there's always like, I don't know, it's like hunting for like the unique thing, as a souvenir. That's also part, I feel, of the experience.
Yeah. We what did we do after Tomorrow? We got lunch in Tomorrowland. We should have gone to somewhere else. So that's not the place with the best food. And then it starts getting busier, I think.
Then we went to Star Wars area.
Before that, though, we cut through Frontierland. Yeah, Frontierland. And we did the shooting range. That was fun. How did you do on the shooting range? You were pretty excited about it. You hit a target.
I hit 4. Okay. I hit 4. I was very proud of myself. And then they give you the gun. And you're like, boom, 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 10. Did not miss one. And I'm like...
Okay, that's not exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. I forgot you grew up 10 minutes away from this. Of course.
But I think I've only actually done that attraction or whatever you call it, like maybe twice.
Are you done bragging?
I'm not bragging.
Well,
so, first of all,
I would not have expected less of you than hitting them all, because you had no excuse not to.
First of all, how satisfying and fun was it?
That was pretty.
It's pretty satisfying, isn't it?
That was pretty satisfying.
It's pretty satisfying. It's a shooting range, but there's nothing physical. It's like a laser whatever thing. You aim at red lights, and there's a dark background with like owls and
I also
tombstones
love like
and
the whole
trains.
like Western, theme thing. Like it's always pretty cool.
Well, so it's like a quarter or 2 quarters to do like 12 shots. They give you a fair amount of shots, and then you get up there and you're aiming at one target, click, miss, and you go click, 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 click. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, how about you aim and then you fire?
Right,
You're just like, it's not unlimited ammo.
Give me a bigger gun.
God. It was satisfying though. So then we're kind of walking around, and then it's getting busier. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's getting,
and then
it's
the crowd's
getting
showing, and then I'm like, get me out of here.
But it's a weird thing to go through Disneyland and not do any of the main rides. Like we didn't do Pirates.
Adult rides?
Yeah, we didn't do Indiana. We didn't do Thunder. We didn't do Space, which is now hyperspace. I don't know whatever that means. So we go over to Star Wars Land, or what is it called? Galaxy's Edge.
It is my favorite area of Disneyland.
Really? So okay, what did you think? Okay, what did you think of it? It's your favorite
of that area?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other area, it's like classic Disney stuff. Also, I'm a little older than this. So as a kid, yeah, it was great. But like, I felt like the Star Wars.
I missed that. You said you're a little older. You're a kid. Wait, what? What does that mean?
The other parts of Disneyland are fine when you're a kid.
Okay.
Like, they were great when I was a kid, right?
Okay.
But now that I'm like, close to my 40s, it's like, yeah, I'm a little over it.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so Star Wars is more like for,
the gate of the castle. I'm like, I don't really care about it anymore.
Well, you're from France also, so it's really unfair.
Yeah. The castle really needs help, people. Like, we got to stop expanding the park. We got to redo the castle. Major renovation, addition, add an ADU to the castle, just make it bigger, right?
ADU.
Yeah. There's a castle crisis at Disneyland.
Yeah.
No, but I felt like, and I really love Star Wars. I'm not like a Star Wars fan or expert or this or that. I actually fell in love with Star Wars just a few years ago. Like, growing up, it was never really something I ever was interested in, which is interesting.
I had no idea you cared about Star Wars at all.
No, I do love the universe of Star Wars, but I'm not like, like bragging about it and dreaming about it, right? I'm just appreciative of all, the world that they've created, right?
Okay.
But the interesting thing is, I feel like in the park, I felt like I was in the movie. Rather than in a theme park that was calling out the movie. Yeah. Which... I feel like some part of the park are more like that. Like, it's kind of a cartoony representation of what the thing is. Mm-hmm. But Star Wars, I felt like I could have been changed clothes and be part of the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean? And that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I think they did a really, really good job, doing that. And maybe also because it wasn't like a kid's thing. It was more of an adult thing that, again, was not... just a store or fast food or whatever. It was like a whole universe, and that was super cool.
My only 2 points of mild criticism, and one of them not really criticism, is I wish it was bigger.
Yeah, no, they have
I
to
wish
keep
it was
adding
bigger.
to it. Yeah.
I wish there was more of that universe to be in.
Yeah.
It was a bit more, because it is at the edge of the park. I don't know if that's why they call it Galaxy's Edge. So it's like kind of like one-sided. It'd be kind of cool if there's a way to get lost in there a bit more, but that's just it's a fuck ton of money to build this stuff. And then the other was that in the main kind of commerce strip, they have like shops and restaurants and stuff, the one that has like the overhead.
Oh, I love that area. I was like build an apartment complex like that. I'll live in it.
It's really cool. Really, really well done. I noticed, though, that when you're walking along, you have, again, like shops mainly on your left and maybe on your right also. You actually can't tell what they're selling. Oh. Because, and it has to do with their design, the signage, maybe because it's dark and it's brown outside, but you can't tell. And I was like, are they selling clothes? Is this where they make the lightsabers? Is that where, did we buy food? Like, what's going on back there? And so... that I thought from like a use experience was a little odd, and I'm sure those shops don't do as well because people just don't know what the fuck they are until you step inside, and there's some of them are awkwardly shallow. Like, oh shit, okay, well I'm in this like 10 by 10 room staring at somebody now. And I guess I'm I don't need a robe. I'm going to walk out. So
maybe it was done on purpose. You know?
That was a little weird. And then they had a few different eating spots, and one of them was more, I think they call it, all the names are based off the movies, which I don't know very well, but it's called like Rondo's Rotisserie, Rondo's Grill, the outdoor circular kind of thing you walk through. But it's oddly designed so that you don't know if it's really space to eat. Well, you do juice? Because no. It's the you probably even recognize that there was a place to stop and get food there because anyway, it's circular, and in the middle of it there's like this 50 inch tall, I don't even know what you call it, like circle thing, and then inside of there it's maybe about 15 feet wide in diameter. Inside there's some kind of like Star Wars looking contraption that's, I think it's just a sculpture. Maybe it makes some sounds too. And then on one side there's like a counter you order food. On the other side of the circle there's some casual tables you sit and eat. But that I thought was, it didn't feel like you couldn't tell what it was. Well, that's what we walked through it for sure, like twice, but you just couldn't tell what it was, and it wasn't a good feeling place.
Yeah, no, I don't recall it at all.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But the execution of the land in general, to your point, it's like it's the movie. Like you're in the movie. You know,
it's
so weird.
And also, you know, on the back to reality mode makes me think like, why are we designing, like, you know, I'm looking across the street right now, like boring stucco boxes with a dumb roof. Mm-hmm. Like, why don't we make stuff like that? Like, I'm sure some people will be into it, you know, like everything is so conventional and limited, and I
mean, you think about it, I think there's a tendency to look at the Disneyland structures and dismiss them as not architecture.
Yeah, of course.
It's not real buildings, and it's because it's all themed and based off of fiction.
Yeah.
But they are real buildings. I mean, you know, we were in Star Wars Land and all the other places, but Fantasyland, I remember we were standing somewhere and I was looking at you guys were using the bathroom. I was looking at the bathroom, and it was in the Fantasyland across from the little train ride that we did. Anyway, you know, it's like this storybook architecture, which is like a style that people call. And it looks like it's out of, you know, this Snow White movie. It has like craftsmanship kind of storybook style with like sloped roofs and all this like stuff. And obviously a lot of the wood that's there is not performative, like in the true old architecture that, you know, we see mostly in Europe, let's say. But it is a building. It's a real building that's there physically. It's performing. It has toilets. It works. It keeps out the water. It's definitely not having any water problems because it looks to be in good condition. It's a building. Like, it's just as real as any other building that's out there. And I think the only reason why we don't do more stuff like that is it's easy to default to our preconceptions of what constitutes architecture and houses and stuff like that. But also it's more money. You know, people always ask, like, I talk to a lot of real estate agents who are curious about architecture but know nothing about it. And they're like, why don't we do more houses like the mid-century architecture or like the case study projects or the Eichler? It's like more stuff like that. I'm like, just money, man. Like, it's more expensive to do that stuff than it is to do the shit boxes we see. Because it's cheap. That's why we do it. It's accessible.
Also, like, there's a lot more, you know, like regulation to comply with. Like all the mid-century stuff, the Eichlers and all of that, like they didn't care about like thermal break in their windows.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't care about like Title 24.
Yeah.
Like,
so you do it now, it's much more complex to execute, like you said, which equals more money, and there's just more money to do. I mean, you know, at Disneyland, it'd be interesting to know, like, the average cost of a structure per square foot at Disneyland. If you were to remove the attraction, if you could somehow remove that part, you know, the roller coaster part from the structure, but just talk about the building itself, it's got to be crazy expensive because they have basically artisans who are doing their plaster work on the outside of these buildings.
Yeah, but I think also they built the actual skeleton in a much more efficient way because there's a lot of things they don't have to comply with because it's a theme park and not a housing.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to compare.
So
I mean, you ride a roller coaster through a building. That's pretty fucking crazy. The Matterhorn also had a really interesting story behind it. Mm-hmm. Real quick. So in that documentary, it's on Disney Plus. I think it's called The Imagineering Story. It's like a 6-part series. But the guy who created the ride the Matterhorn was one of the first rides. I think it opened up like maybe 4 or 5 years after the theme park opened. So it's been around for a very long time. And there weren't like computers at that time, really. So he's like, this guy was like, I think his background was, I forget what his background was. It was something. But he's like, I had to learn calculus to do this ride. He's like, because I didn't know how to like, I didn't know physics to like make the roller coaster work. Because once you go up, you got to go just down. And, they wanted this roller coaster to go in and out of a mountain and then have like, features here and there and then have a gondola, the sky train thing go through the mountain. He's like, what the fuck? How are we going to do that? He's like, so yeah, I had to learn calculus on my own to figure this out.
The other thing that was shocking when we went, and we talked about that when we were there, was that everyone was wearing their Disney clothing. Mm-hmm. Disney t-shirt, Disney hat, Disney something, right? And we did not.
Yeah, it was like maybe 70% of the people.
I would say 85.
Really?
I would say there's a lot of people. There's probably just a handful of people we walked by that did not wear anything Disney.
Well, next time we have to, I don't know, buy some ears or something. I don't know. It's tough to look good in the ears, though. I'd rather get a big goofy hat. Okay, but what do you think about the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance ride? That's the one that everyone's always talking about.
So it's interesting because we, went with our son. We had to do the rides by ourselves, which was kind
like
of
some kind
weird,
of creepy people
experience. It was kind of
Pervert,
weird.
what are you doing on this ride?
It was kind of weird and sad in a way. I'm like, yeah, everybody has like their friends, their kids, their family. It also makes the
experience far less interesting.
And I'm like, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
They're like, how many people? I'm like, one.
I'm by myself. It is kind of sad. It's kind of like, it's like when they ask other people and you say what, you can feel like everyone like I was one of these weirdos.
I want to be like, no, but I have two people waiting for me outside, I'm not by myself.
Yeah, sure you do, weirdo.
The ride was pretty cool. It was pretty nice to, again, kind of like, I felt like I was in a movie, like I was part of the scene, the story, just like, I wasn't just like walking, sitting into a ride and coming out. Like, I didn't know what to expect. They're expecting me to do stuff. Like, it was kind of interesting setup. And the staff that was working in that ride was also kind of scary. They were like calling people, like lighting them up, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen?
The interesting thing with this ride and the newer ones is they really try a lot more to create the holistic experience. So, and Indiana Jones does that as well. When you're waiting in line, there's a bunch of Indiana Jones things to kind of play with. But I like that the attraction experience is not just the ride itself. Like, it starts earlier, not just because you're in line looking at Star Wars stuff, but you actually go through a short, like, initial kind of... so I'm just going to spoil the whole thing. So, like, you're in line, or we cut the line because we took the lightning pass. You're part of the Resistance. That's the story. Okay? So you get in this area. They're like, okay, hi, crew, jump into this shuttle. We're going to shuttle safely to, like, the moon of whatever place or whatever. You're in the shuttle, and you're all standing. There's maybe 20 guests. And there's animatronic robots, and there's screens with Oscar Isaac on it, being, hey, gang, I'm Oscar Isaac.
Which is all AI.
Yeah?
It's all AI.
What's AI?
And now a quick break to thank the sponsors who support the second studio. This episode is brought to you by Chaos. They make award-winning design and visualization tools, and they're really pushing the boundaries with AI. Now, AI is shaking up the architecture and design world, and Chaos is taking a responsible approach. Their tools are built to help architects, designers, and visualization specialists to work faster and explore more ideas without replacing creativity. Basically, Chaos wants AI to make your imagination stronger, not take over. So you get to design with more freedom, create stunning visuals, and stay in control of your work. If you want to see what that looks like, tap the Chaos link in our show notes.
Dear architects, design leaders, and founders redefining the industry, if you want to shape not only buildings, but the business behind them, this is your moment. Future London Academy's Executive MBA takes you inside the boardrooms of Pentagram, Uber, Zaha Hadid Architects, and Google, where you'll master finance, finance, strategy, and operations from the people who already excel at them. Study along peers transforming the industry worldwide and do it all in just 9 intensive weeks over 1 year between London and California. The program is award-winning, transformative, and crafted for design and architecture leaders with 15 or more years of experience. If you're ready to grow your impact, apply now by tapping the Future London Academy link in our show notes.
Say goodbye to design-unfriendly spreadsheets. Programma, built by designers for designers, provides an integrated suite of tools for every phase of your project, from mood boards to advanced specification tools to project management. Seamlessly integrated, easily shareable, and always current, Programma reduces redundancy and minimizes costly errors. Share your work in a format that works for you, be it PDF, spec sheets, or online, branded client dashboards with always up-to-date specification details. Join interior design movers and shakers and start for free by clicking the Programma link in our show notes. Experience the difference with Programma, software built for interior design workflows.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I'm
it looked
certain.
pretty...
No.
How do you know?
I just know, like the way.
Whoa. So you didn't fact check this? This is...
I would bet $5, and I'm 100% right. He did not act. It's AI. You could tell how the muscles of the face move. It's not him. Which makes sense. Like, why would they pay actors to do that kind of like write stuff? Like, yeah, just do it AI. It's all AI. It moved weird. His face moved weird.
You're gonna be so wrong if
I'm wrong, then his face moves really weird, and that's, I don't know.
According to Google, it's not AI.
No, it's not AI.
He filmed live action footage exclusively for the ride. So
no, it looked weird.
It
moved weird. It moved
your
weird.
AI spewing
They say
out
that because they don't want to say that they're using AI as Disney, because it's like, oh my god, that sounds terrible. You're not actually paying the actors. You're using AI. I bet 100% it's AI. I'm telling everybody who's listening to this recording, go to the right, stare at the screen. I was that close to the screen.
You're in the front seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's that false piece of information.
No, it's true. Don't listen to what they say online.
You're as bad as ChatGPT, just making up random stuff every now and then. It's amazing how AI is like, it's right, and then all the times you're like, this is not even close to being right. What the fuck happened?
It's a glitch.
Yeah, it's like, it's really glitchy. It's kind of weird.
Well, the thing is that there's an ease in just believing that what they're telling you is true. And then, you think you have to take it with a grain of salt.
I use it for general information or for kind of like bouncing or brainstorming ideas and things like that. But anything legal, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to trust it really.
Legal, medical, anything,
The thing is, it's all just based on
a recipe, like, sure.
It's just, exactly. It's only based on like what the LLM has access to, which is a certain set of information from a period of time. So it's not necessarily the most recent, and it doesn't capture like things that are not online. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, but that ride, so you start off in the shuttle, and I think you're like being shuttled by the Resistance, and you're kind of going through space. It's called calm, and of course your ship gets what?
But the ship you're actually in, like the shuttle, did it actually move like somewhere, or did it just move like stationary moved?
That's the Disney magic. You don't know. No, it doesn't move.
It doesn't move, right?
No,
it didn't look from the outside like it was going to move.
It's probably just on hydraulics. It goes like this. It makes you feel like you're moving.
But then
around.
you enter. So you enter. Did we exit the same way we entered, or we exit on the other side? I forgot.
I'm pretty sure it's the other side. So you enter into the side of the shuttle. You're in there.
Like you enter from
you're in
the courtyard.
Space. Oscar Isaac is there, looking good. And then, oh my God, there's the mega triangle ship. The pizza wedge ship has arrived. And then you get sucked in by tractor beam, I believe, by the what's the order, right? That's what they're called, right? And so they open the doors, and now you're inside of the ship of the, what is it called? The destroyer, I think. Fuck me. What is it called?
I don't know. I'm not a
The pizza wedge. You're inside the pizza wedge.
You're inside Domino's.
They open up the door, and now you're faced with, the lieutenant from the order, and they're dressed up like from the movie. And what's kind of cool is that all the different like hosts of the ride, they are either part of the Resistance or part of the order, and they act accordingly. Mm-hmm. So when this guy opens the door, he's dressed up in this kind of like, fascist outfit, and it goes, for me at least, I don't know what you experienced, he goes, get out. And all the kids are like, oh God, where are we going? Where are we going? And then what I remember is you step out into like this central kind of gangway space, and there's a big projection screen that looks that's projecting what would be looking into space. It's a digital screen of some kind. And there's an army of stormtroopers standing in front of you in this big hall.
Were they moving a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think they were just statues. But it's like directly from the movie, but slightly scaled down.
That's impressive. And the room is like the ceiling's really tall, and you're like, oh shit, where are we going?
It feels like you're inside of that spacecraft, you know.
It's funny because when you've never done it before, and you don't know what to expect. You don't know if they're going to ask you to do stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to take one of you apart, it's really...
Then you go through into the
hallway was pretty cool.
The hallways are
I was
pretty
looking at the
close to
ceiling, I was
yeah.
looking at the walls. I'm like, nice paint job. And did they CNC this?
They got the ultra glossy black floors like from the movie.
Yeah. The lighting was great in there.
And, you know, you're captives now. And so you're waiting in this hallway, and all of the folks who are chaperoning you are again, they're part of the order, so they're being kind of gruff. Then you get put into kind of a prison cell, and then you're being interrogated by what's his name, Kylo Ren. Mm-hmm. You know, he makes an appearance, and so does his first captain, whatever his name is. And then a hole in the wall gets lasered out with the plasma cutter, and that's the Resistance coming to save you. Then you go into another room. I mean, you experience like 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces before you get to a space where you actually get in the vehicle.
Well, and if you try to think about the floor plan of the ride, the spaces are big. The distances between things are big. So you're like, what is the size of just this specific attraction and plan? Like, it must be huge.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of the rides they do at once, but probably quite a bit. And then finally you get in your little car. So
you get in the car, like this big attraction car thing, ride thing. You're in a room. I was in the car in the back. There's 2 cars per room, right? It's the car in the back. And I'm looking around, and I'm seeing screens on the wall, and I'm looking ahead, and I don't see any doors, and I'm like,
you don't know where you're going to go.
I'm like, where are those cars going to go?
I actually don't remember. How did we get out of that room?
So, I kept looking around, and I'm like, there is no way any of this stuff is going to move for the car to go through. So the door must be behind us. So we're going to go backwards.
Did we?
And we did. We go backwards.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, shit. And it was pretty cool. And then it was a really, really... it was the same system as the Mickey Mouse ride that we did, right? Where like the cars kind of like no tracks and just kind of almost go free fall, which was pretty cool. But some of the spaces were insane. Like there was the one space that was super tall with those robot legs.
They call them ATVs or AT something. It's the one. It's just so bad. People who know Star Wars, these people should not be talking. The big walking things that appear in the latter 2 movies of the first 3. Yeah. The big gray walking things.
And you're like, wow, like you feel the height of the space, and it was pretty cool. And then the cars go like in all kinds of directions. There is laser shootings, there is doors opening, like you're in the vessel. And
the thing that's cool is
then you go on an elevator, like you go on a platform, and it goes up and down. And I was like, oh my God.
You're eye level with the machines, and they're blasting at you.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I mean, for a kid, it's got to be so exciting. Even as an adult, it's exciting, but as a kid, you gotta feel like, oh my God, we're inside, and then there's cannons going off.
There was one kid in the car we were in, and everyone was like, it was a group of women friends, a dad, his kid, and me. We're all screaming the whole time.
It's so going back. So when you're in the jail cell, the interrogation room, right? And then there's a plasma cutter from the other side, right? You have no sense that there's going to be that because the room looks like a room, like you're saying. The other space.
You're like, okay, now what are we going to do here?
And they do it. I don't know, with lights, black light project. I don't know how they do it, but they make it look like there's a plasma being cut through. You go through, and then the panel pops out and then slides over or slides up. So now when you enter the next space, of course, being an architect, I'm looking at the hinge system of that panel. Super sophisticated and really well done because you could not tell that was a movable
So when
panel.
you have a GC on side who's like, you're like, oh, you can't do this. You're like, come on, man. Did you do that right? Did you see that hinge? It's possible. Stop being lazy butt.
I want to do the ride again because it goes by so quickly.
And then you're in the room. I think it's when you're in the elevator, like you go, I think up or down, and you're right behind Kylo Ren, like talking, looking outside.
Yeah.
And you see him, and like the animatronics were pretty good. I was like, are those real people moving? Like the movements were like, pretty. It was pretty smooth. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The storytelling component, I think, though, it would be a lot more fun to be in a car with the people that you're with.
Oh yeah,
or with kids, because that's a lot of it is seeing it through their eyes. It's like going to like we talked about going to vacation with like our parents when they go to a country for the first time. It's like that's like half of the fun of the trip is actually just experiencing it through them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty amazing. And I came out, you're like, you've been gone for 45 minutes. Wow. How long is this ride? And actually, when I went, we had some problems. So like when we were in the queue, a couple of different cycles went through. They call them cycles. And then they had to shuttle us to a different space. And then we got in the car, we were buckled up. And then our cars had problems. So we had to go to another space. Mm. And then you could tell that the cast members, that's what they call them at Disneyland, the people helping out, the chaperones, were trying to stay in character, but also somewhat panicking because they're like, the car's not working. But yeah, super worth it. And then when I came out, you're like, is it worth it? I'm like, well, we already paid for the lightning lane. And also, I think it's worth it.
No, I'm glad I did. It was really fun. Really fun. I was ready to go back and do it again.
Yeah. But yeah, the Galaxy's Edge, that part of the park was pretty interesting. So walking around, we saw Boba Fett, we saw Kylo Ren, stormtroopers, we saw Chewbacca, we saw
Rey,
and Mandalorian. Did not see a tiny Grogu walking around. What was that about? They should put Grogu on a high wire and just have him fly around
on a swing somewhere,
But funny, I think having those characters out and about, and they're out there pretty often, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it makes it feel more real.
It's like performance.
Yeah, Kylo Ren stopped one lady who was visiting the park, was I guess a really hardcore Star Wars fan. She was all dressed up in Star Wars attire or whatever. He pulled her aside and started fake interrogating her, and it was really funny.
Yeah,
really funny because she was very serious.
It must be pre-recorded dialogue that they control. I don't know actually.
No,
how
I don't
it works.
know. I think it's probably all improv.
They do these skits where, a crowd gathers around them and he starts talking about the Resistance and rebel scum and whatever. And we're in the crowd and we're watching him and he says something like, the rebel scum will be crushed. And then one kid goes, "Are you sure about that?" But yeah, it's pretty amazing. So then we're hanging out by the Millennium Falcon, which is an impressive thing to witness. And I'm tending to the kid, and I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. So there's a low fence around the Millennium Falcon, so you obviously can't go up to it and touch it. And I'm tending to the kid by the fence, and I hear this British person say, "Excuse me," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." I look up, and it's what's her name? Ray? It's Ray. I was like, "Oh shit, it's you!" And of course, they say in character. I'm like, "Oh wow, you're here." I'm blocking your entry to the Millennium Falcon. But yeah, very, very convincing, the whole territory. And then we did another ride, which we weren't expecting on doing, but we did Smuggler's Run, the other Star Wars.
Yeah, that was pretty fun too. You go in
that one's interesting.
A little ship, and either you're driving the ship or you're the gunner in the back.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Again, when you go and you're not with your party, you're just by yourself, and it's you have a group of strangers, and the guy's like, "Okay, who wants to be the captain? Who wants to be the gunner?" And I'm like, "They're the captain."
So what did you do?
I was the gunner.
Oh,
with the kid. It was a kid and me,
that's
and
cool.
they're shooting. I was pushing so hard on the buttons. The kid was a little slow. I'm like, "Come on, man! Go harder on that button."
Yeah.
And then a couple who was with us was the captains. Not very good.
It's that ride is also interesting because it's you don't actually physically travel. It's just it's like Star Tours. It's just a vehicle on hydraulics and it moves around.
But
that
sort of stuff is pretty effective still.
Yeah, for sure. The fun part of that ride too was again the procession getting into it, because you actually board into the Millennium Falcon, and they have a scene set up where you hang out for a bit while they get you into the actual cockpit or whatever. And it's like from the movie. It's such a weird thing to be in the space. And
I'm just looking at like every bolts and screws and things. I'm like, someone had to draw and detail that stuff. Like,
I think there's a lot of winging it on.
Well, I was wondering about that. I was like, how much is just like, okay, just bring whatever you have, Bob, on the shelf, or just make it fit. Yeah. But I'm like, it's a lot of parts. A
lot of parts. I'm sure it's like the same thing as set design, except for they have to do it so it lasts a lot longer.
Well, and except like you're actually seeing it like through, not just from one side.
Yeah, really.
It was pretty cool.
Well curated experience. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Though we try to go to the what is it called? The canteen, cantina. Yeah. The iconic Star Wars scene where there's a cantina and Han Solo shoots a guy and whatever. They have that set up for beverages, but it's like they gave us a standing table. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stand with a kid for like half an hour and hold a 30-pound kid. Are you nuts? So that didn't really work out. But what did we do the rest of the day? I don't even remember.
Then we did Jungle Cruise, I think.
Jungle Cruise was fun.
Which was cute.
That was a long line.
Was just, we get in and we're like, it says 40-minute wait. It doesn't
I think
seem
it was
like
less. I think it was
much.
like 35.
Yeah, well, and then you go in, you're like, there's nobody. Well, there's nobody downstairs because everybody's upstairs.
Yeah.
And then you go up and around and around and back down and back up and around, and the lines are pretty tight. Like it's, I don't know.
They didn't used to be that way.
It's less than 36 inches.
Oh, far less.
In width. And there's posts and people's shoulders and things, and I'm like, again, this is not enjoyable.
Yeah.
The ride was cute. It felt a little bit like an old ride.
Oh, well, it's from the original.
Yeah. It was cute. It's kind of weird because I feel like it's hard to see when you're on those types of boat. If you sit on the edge, because you kind of have to like turn around.
Yeah, right.
It's
facing
not
inward.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult, but that was cool. We did the tiki room.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. It also felt like a little, dusty and dated, but I thought it was really cool. There was like, stuff coming out of the walls and moving. And I was actually very impressed that pretty much every part of everything was moving at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had like those totems on the wall, and the eyes were moving up and down. And I was like, who the heck thought about those things?
I think that was one of the original attractions. I don't know if it was there on the first day of when Disneyland opened, but like within 5 years. So I'm sure they've upgraded I don't know if they've upgraded. They just maintain the animatronics. But you look at the documentary, it's like guys wearing full suits putting together animatronic birds from like 1955. It's such a weird thing to see. Cool. It's basically the same. Like, it hasn't changed.
That's pretty cool. And again, I don't remember that in France. I don't know if that's there.
It's such an effective attraction.
Mm-hmm.
The technology, it's been 60 years or 55 years since I mean, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is another level of attraction, of course, but in terms of storytelling and entertainment, they're both pretty good, right? It just takes, I don't know, good music, I guess, and good choreography.
And then we did the train ride.
Around the park? We did both.
Yeah.
We did the Casey Jr. one and then the Around the Park, yeah. Yeah, that was cool. It's always nice to just sit for a little bit.
Yeah.
The tiki room was always like okay, we're going to sit and have some pineapple dessert and be in an air-conditioned space for about 15 minutes. Then the end of the day was kind of a shit show. Well, we did have a second churro at some point. That was good.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
End of the day got kind of a shit show because everyone was tired and we're trying to find food and
it was
whatever
crowded.
Else. It was getting a lot.
They were closing some parts.
Yeah, they had a special event for the Star Wars stuff, so things were. So yeah, we tried to find pseudo dinner, and things were closing early because of that, and then also the park is pretty big, so. If you're tired, you're trying to find food, you have to know where you are to find the right kind of food. And that was we kind of bounced around quite a bit. We did not do the food correctly at Disneyland outside of the churro and the pickle.
Hey man, like you're
but
the
actual
expert
meals
Disney
didn't really work out. So I had a hot dog.
And
I had. What did you order?
It said on the menu pretzel and cream cheese. I'm like, I like pretzel and cream cheese. I'll take that. I didn't want a hot dog. I was like, fine, I take that. And then
like a bagel and cream cheese is probably right?
Savory, kind of like carbs and cheese deal or whatever. I have a bite of that thing, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what did we order? It was like sweet cream cheese filling.
Yeah.
But not good sweet. Like, it was, and the pretzel itself did not even look the color of a pretzel. It was barely brown. It was more like yellow brown.
It was more yellow.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
I wonder if that's like a known type of pretzel.
I don't know, but
I
was like, I think that's my worst nightmare now. I just thinking about it.
It was as sweet as, it was almost like syrupy frosting. But
it was warm too, which I think made it worse.
The texture was gooey.
Yeah, no,
it was
not
gooey.
Good.
It wasn't good. Like.
So do not get ever that if you go to Disneyland. That was not.
It was pretty bad.
I would have rather got a third churro. I should have done that.
Should have just done that.
But that was fun. That was pretty fun. I would definitely go back there in 10 years and do more.
I want to go back in like a year.
Oh, okay. Different expectations. Yeah. No, but that was nice. That was nice. I'm glad we did it. It had been on our to-do list for quite some time, so it was nice to finally check it off.
Yeah. Okay. Any concluding thoughts?
No, but I'm curious if anyone has any tips or any food recommendation for next time we go. Would be good.
Yeah, food recommendations for sure. Let me ask you. So, I've always thought about Disneyland compared to other theme parks as being a pretty comprehensive, kind of holistic kind of experience. Did it feel that way to you? Like, if you go to other amusement parks, we don't go to amusement parks, but you go to others, there's like kind of
Universal Studios is probably the closest.
But Universal's more like a series of...
it's. I mean, the nature of that park is different because it's all based on like specific movies. There is no continuous thread between things. Mm-hmm. There's not a one universe where everything fits in. So, very different. So much smaller. It was pretty. It was pretty seamless. They're pretty tidy there. I mean, they're like parking strollers, putting tape, like keeping everything aligned. I kind of like that.
They're very tidy.
I was like, I kind of like you rearrange stuff so it doesn't look like a shit show. Like, I appreciate it.
I didn't know that they did that. So the first time we parked the stroller, we came back and the stroller was gone.
That was a bit confusing. I'm like,
okay, did someone just steal our stroller in the first 10 minutes of it? Disneyland is going to be a long day. And now they have people just rearranging stuff so it's in order.
Yeah.
But the park is clean too. Like even during the day,
it was
clean.
A little bit messier, later in the day because people drop popcorn and things, and they're trying to sweep and clean as fast and as much as they can. But you can't like catch the popcorn as it falls, right? So it's a little whatever. But it was really nice.
There's a lot of pockets to Disneyland too that we didn't go through, like smaller.
Well, we also know a few people who work for Disneyland, and it would be cool to go with them to kind of experience like a different, aspect of the park, or find out about the hidden parts of it. I'm sure there is many. There,
like hidden, like behind,
or like the cute little corners, or like shortcuts, or like it's kind of like stuff like only if you work there, or you've gone there so many times you can know about.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like experience it with the locals.
Supposedly there's hidden Mickey Mouse, the profile, the silhouette of the head, the three circles. There's hidden Mickey Mouse emblems, I guess, throughout the park on different rides.
Oh.
It's like a thing.
Oh.
There's a lot of things.
I'm sure.
Hidden in Disneyland. And I guess we have to buy some Disney swag the next time. No, I don't think we're going to do that. That's not really
just rent it.
Just rent it? More expensive to rent it. Okay, cool. Give us an outro.
Thank you everyone for listening to this After Hours episode. If you like what we do, please share the word, pass the link around. You can subscribe. We're on all of the channels. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and all of the podcast platforms. Rate us, leave us a review. If you have any stories, any tips about Disneyland you want to share, you can call or text us at the hotline, 213-222-6950. We also have the website, secondstudiopod.com, and on Instagram, we are Second Studio Pod. And that's it. There is a lot more to come, so
Tag
I'm gonna do the
along.
shooting gallery again. That was pretty satisfying.
All right, stop bragging.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.